Hi everyone, Christina here, One Creative Direction. Welcome in everyone, whether you're new or a subscriber. I appreciate you coming to watch my videos. And if you're not a current subscriber, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you get the rest of my videos. So today we're going to create some coasters using the two other cell activators that I went over in my Cell Activator recipe video. If you didn't catch the previous one using the first recipe, be sure and check that out. I'll link that in the description box. In this video, we're going to do the white Cell Activator one that I created using the Winsor & Newton white, and we're going to create a coaster with the purple Cell Activator that I created. So the first one we're going to work on is the white Cell Activator, and in case you don't recall from the video or didn't watch it, the mix ratio for this cell activator is 4 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, and you add in a few drops of the Minwax pre-stain. So I'm speeding up the video because it does take quite a bit. I do adjust the ratio a little bit throughout the video and make a few attempts at each one of the cell activators. And I'm really glad that happened so you can see the difference when you add even just one more part of Floetrol, one more drop of the pre-stain. So there's some key things I want you guys to take away from this video, and that is it's okay to fail, scrape, repeat, try it again. And not every cell activator recipe works great with every paint. So I'm going to share some of my experiences. So hopefully you don't have to go through and test everything. I like to share so maybe it saves you from having to do that. So in this first attempt, I'm using 3 different colors. It's a Modern Masters, I believe it's called Venetian Blue. It's the first time I had used it. I love Modern Masters paints, but I had never seen this color before, and so this is the first time I'm using it on the bloom. And then the second color that I put on was this Anita's Metallic Fuchsia, and then I had put a copper. I believe it was Pebio's Iridescent Copper. So you can see my first attempt here. I put the cell activator on, and a good indicator when you're doing blooms and you put your cell activator on, a good indicator that's working is you'll start to see a little bit of a halo around your cell activator. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But I have noticed the first recipe I shared with the Arissa Roux mixture, it halos really quickly, and you can blow and spin really quickly. I mean, like almost immediately after you put the cell activator on. With these 2 other recipes, you're going to have to keep in mind that it acts a lot more like Australian Floetrol in that you'll see some of the other artists when they put their cell activator on, they wait for a few seconds and then they blow and then they wait to spit it out. So it has to have that contraction and contraction time, right? So you'll have to keep that in mind with these 2 last recipes, that you have to wait a little bit. And you don't necessarily see as much of a halo. It'll be very slight, so you have to watch for it. So the first attempt I made, like I said, with the 4 to 1, didn't work so well. There was a few cells, most of them spun off. So I went ahead and adjusted the recipe, and I added 1 more part of Floetrol. So at this point on my second attempt, it's at 5 to 1 ratio. And I added 1 more drop of pre-stain just because I had mixed the cell activator 2 days earlier, and it didn't really, I should have refreshed it before I started, but I didn't. So I did that. So this is my second attempt here, and again, I got a little bit of lacing, but not a lot. And it wasn't to my satisfaction. So as I'm doing the second attempt, I decided at that point I'm going to switch out the Pebio Iridescent Copper with 24 karat gold, because it does matter which paints you select with your cell activators. Not every color and mixture is going to work together. So that's the experimental portion of this, this art is, you have to figure those out. And I figured out a long time ago that Deco Arts Metallic 24 karat gold is just, it just like adds this wow factor to your cell activator. I've not ever had a bad experience with it. So I decided after this second attempt here that I was going to switch it out, leave the copper out, and put the 24 karat gold in, which I do in the next attempt. And you'll see the difference. Another thing with these cell activators is I have noticed, number one, I feel like they work better with a swipe rather than a blown out bloom. And when you do that, if I swipe with this one, you see me waving my piece of plastic over it. It seems like usually like air, like cool air, will help the lacing come up. So you'll see that I did that. And then obviously, waiting a certain amount of time. So you can see not a lot of lacing. So I'm going to adjust this recipe one more time, which will be 6:1, which is the final ratio that I used in this attempt. And it turned out really good. And you'll see the result when I'm done here. So that's a few things I wanted you to take away from learning about, using these cell activators. Now in this last attempt, I also decided at the last minute I wasn't going to use that fuchsia, that metallic fuchsia, because it didn't appear in the first two attempts that it was really reacting to anything at all. Now the Venetian blue did. It reacted quite well. So I kept it and I added in I believe it was a Winsor & Newton, I want to say cobalt blue hue paint, which is a lighter blue. It didn't necessarily contrast the other blue, but it did react a lot better than the fuchsia color. So I'm going to let you guys finish watching this, and I'll come back in when we get to the next portion, which is using the third cell activator, the purple that I mixed up, and I'll give you a few tips and tricks there too and explain the process. See you in a few. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just wanted to pop in and kind of go over uh, this next set using the third cell activator, the purple, and share with you the colors that I'm laying down. So the first color is the Modern Masters Glacier Blue, and the second color is, I believe, Artist Loft Magenta. I don't know if it's magenta light, I can't remember. And the third color is Artist Loft Metallic Yellow. I made the decision to lay the metallic down last because, as I mentioned before, a lot of times a metallic before your cell activator gives you a better reaction. And if you remember, the cell activator was using the 6:1 only US Floetrol. So you'll see in this first attempt, there's not really a halo at all forming. Maybe just a slight one, but I do get a little bit of lacing. And again, as I mentioned before, it takes quite a while for those, those cells and lacing to start popping up. And again, I'm waving my plastic piece to try to, get some airflow because I feel like it reacts better that way. So these last two recipes, they act a lot more like Australian Floetrol. And some of the other artists you see doing blooms, they use a straw a lot to blow in the center to get that extra paint to cell up. So that's what I'm doing here. A lot of times it works, but the first attempt, as you can see, there is a little bit there. I wasn't real happy with it. And then I adjusted the recipe. So you'll see the second attempt coming up here. And I added one more part of Floetrol, so it made it a 7:1 ratio at that point. And you'll see that the second coaster actually turned out a lot better. And I believe, if you wanted to keep going, at that point I decided I didn't really like the color combination anyway. And I was going to paint over them, but you could have gone, I've seen artists go as high as 10:1. I think you just have to kind of play with it like I am here and decide, what look you like and go with that. But at 7:1, I decided, number one, I didn't like the colors. But I think 8:1 probably would have been a pretty good ratio if I would have kept going with these colors, if I would have liked them. So I'm going to let you guys listen to some music and watch the rest of the video. And you'll see at the end of the video, I show you the results. I'll come back in at that point because it's very short. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate it. Hey guys, getting to the end of this, so I'm going to pop back in here and close this out. This is the last one, and it turned out fairly good, like I said before, at 7 to 1, and I decided not to keep going with it. So here in a second, I'm going to bring all 3 of them up to the camera so you can see the final results for all of them. Overall, not too bad. I mean, really good learning experience for everyone watching. As you can see, that blue one turned out beautifully, and I actually ended up making 4 more of those that they all turned out amazing. I poured over the other 2. I didn't care for the color combination, and I definitely did not care for the color of the Cell Activator. Another thing that you can do to experiment with these 2 recipe cell activators is layering it with another cell activator. For instance, if I would have maybe layered that purple one with maybe a black one on top or a white one on top, or something to that effect, a lot of times you'll get a really good result that way as well. So you just have to kind of play with it, see what you like, what looks visually good to you, and go with it. Hey guys, it's Christina here. I'm back. I wanted to follow up on the Cell Activator creation video. Doing the last portion, the dried portion. So these are the last 2 that I did. This is the very last one with the, I think it was the 7 to 1 ratio. I didn't particularly care for the way that these dried, so I'm probably going to paint over these. This was the second to last one, the first attempt that I did. I don't particularly care for that purple cell activator, so I don't really venture out of white or black cell activators, but yeah, I don't care for those. This one I thought turned out really well, so I'll probably do 4 more of these to make the set. But yeah, like I said, I didn't particularly care for these other 2. So yeah, I just wanted to get on here real quick and do a follow-up. And I think this recipe will be fine with a different paint, different color potentially. I just didn't care for this purple. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, the recipes. Yeah, so join me for the next video and keep watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell. All right, bye.